Picture this, you're boarding a literal floating palace. We're talking about the largest machine ever built by human hands up to that point. And you have this absolute, unquestionable certainty that it could never, ever sink. Back in 1912, Unsinkable wasn't just some clever marketing gimmick. It was a deeply held belief worldwide. It really perfectly captured that era's total faith in technology. So today, we're diving into this explainer to unpack the true story of the RMS Titanic. We're going to explore how the ultimate symbol of human ambition turned into one of history's most defining tragedies. We'll look at the incredible engineering, the domino effect of failures that brought it all down, and of course, the legacy it left behind. But before we get into the timeline and all the crazy facts, we really have to ask ourselves this one fundamental question. What happens when human ambition underestimates the raw power of nature? It's a question that completely challenges our confidence in our own tech, right? It forces us to reckon with the limits of human ingenuity, and honestly, that tension is exactly what sets the stage for everything that went wrong on that freezing voyage. Okay, Section 1, the unsinkable dream. Ambition sets sail. So our story really kicks off on April 10, 1912. Thousands of people are boarding this supposedly invincible ship in Southampton, England, heading for New York. And to truly wrap your head around the scale of this thing, you have to realize it stretched nearly 900 feet long. Just to put that into perspective, that's like taking 3 whole American football fields and laying them end to end. It was an absolute behemoth. Down below, you literally had an army of workers shoveling over 600 tons of coal every single day into these massive furnaces just to keep the propellers turning. The ambition it took to build and run a moving city like this, completely unprecedented. And it really was a moving city. You had over 2,200 passengers and crew on board, representing a total cross-section of society. On one hand, you had unimaginable wealth. I mean, John Jacob Astor, literally the richest man in the world at the time, was on board enjoying the first ever heated swimming pool at sea, Turkish baths, and dining rooms that rivaled the best spots in Paris. But then, just a few decks down, you had hundreds of hopeful families in third class, packed together, heading off for what they thought would be a brand new life in America. And for the first few days, smooth sailing. No one had a clue what was coming. Moving on to Section 2, the fatal collision, ignoring the signs. That whole illusion of safety completely shattered on the night of April 14th. The Titanic entered the super dangerous ice-filled waters in the North Atlantic. And here's the wild part. Throughout the day, the ship's wireless operators actually received multiple explicit warnings from other ships. They were basically told, hey, there are huge fields of icebergs right in your path. But despite those glaring red flags, the crew kept the ship barreling forward at high speed. Why? Well, they were under massive pressure to stick to their schedule and arrive early in New York for the glowing press coverage. The captain and the designers were just so blinded by their own hubris. They honestly thought that even if they hit ice, the ship's design would save them. When you trace the timeline, it is terrifying how fast things went sideways. After that triumphant launch on April 10th, we jump to the critical moment, April 14th, 11:40 p.m. Lookouts are peering into the pitch black night, and suddenly there's a massive iceberg directly ahead. Now get this, they were relying entirely on their naked eyes. They didn't even have binoculars because the key to the binocular locker was accidentally left behind at the port. By the time they saw the ice, it was way too late. They tried frantically to turn the massive ship, but the iceberg just scraped right along the starboard side. It popped rivets and tore open a bunch of those supposedly watertight compartments below the waterline. Just a few hours later, at 2:20 a.m. on April 15th, the unsinkable ship was gone. Which brings us to Section 3, the sinking and rescue, a shortage of time and hope. As freezing seawater poured into the lower decks, which is where the third-class passengers were, a lot of the people relaxing up top were completely clueless. The initial hit just felt like a subtle scrape, so from the outside it didn't seem like a big deal. But the underlying math here is absolutely horrifying. The designers put so much blind faith into those watertight compartments that they totally failed to plan for a real evacuation. The ship only had enough lifeboats for about half the people on board, so the second the ship started going down, over 1,000 people were mathematically doomed. And making that limited capacity even more tragic, the extreme overconfidence meant that a lot of those early lifeboats were lowered into the freezing ocean half empty. People just felt way safer standing on this massive, brightly lit, solid deck than they did getting into a fragile little wooden boat dangling 70 feet above the freezing Atlantic. To give you an idea of how bad this was, lifeboat number 7 was the first to leave. It could hold 65 people. They lowered it with just 28. Think about that. All those empty seats that could have saved lives, just gone. As the hours dragged on, the front of the ship sank deeper, lifting the back end high up into the air. And when the ship finally snapped under its own weight and vanished just after 2:20 a.m., the human toll was staggering. Over 1,500 people died in the freezing water. It remains one of the deadliest peacetime maritime disasters ever. In the end, only about 700 survivors were rescued by the RMS Carpathia, a ship that bravely dodged ice in the dark to get to them. And the heartbreaking kicker? Another ship, the Californian, was actually much closer and could have saved hundreds. But their crew had turned off the radio for the night and ignored the Titanic's distress flares because they thought they were just party fireworks. Just devastating. Finally, Section 4, a legacy of safety. Lessons learned the hard way. The shock of this disaster rippled across the entire globe and basically forced the world to wake up. It directly catalyzed massive, sweeping changes to maritime safety that are still in place today. So why does this matter to you? Well, anytime you hop on a cruise ship or a commercial ferry, your safety is being protected by rules written directly because of the Titanic. Because of the people who died that night, ships are now legally required to have enough lifeboats for absolutely everyone on board, period. They're mandated to do standard emergency drills, and they must have 24-hour active radio communication. A distress call will literally never go unheard in the dark again. Ultimately, the whole story of the Titanic leaves us with this incredible paradox. On one side, you have the breathtaking power of human engineering, right? We can forge thousands of tons of steel into a floating city. But on the other side, we are constantly faced with the relentless unpredictability of nature. The Titanic is just a profound lesson in humility. It's a permanent reminder that no matter how grand or invincible our tech seems, it is never ever beyond the raw power of the natural world. We don't just study this stuff to remember the past, we study it to protect our future. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought. In our modern world, where technology is advancing faster than ever, are we still underestimating nature today? It's something we really need to ask ourselves as we keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Thanks for hanging out with me to unpack the incredible story and the lasting lessons of the Titanic.